So Shazam, and when this first came up, I was talking to a friend of mine, Van Connor, who's a film critic, and he said, of course, you know the connection between Shazam, Captain Marvel? No. Looking up Shazam, originally known as Captain Marvel, fictional comic book superhero appearing in publications by DC Comics. So
I remember Shazam as a cartoon.
Yes, okay. Well, I don't, and I think that probably says a lot. Anyway, so imagine that this is being imparted to you by somebody with really no knowledge of the history. So, misfit teenager acquires adult superhero powers. At the very beginning of the film, we see a young boy who is at a fairground with his mother, and they're having a sort of lovely time. And then his mother gets separated from him in the crowd when he drops something on the floor and he's trying to get it, and he gets separated from her. And the next thing is she's gone. And we then move forward, and he's an adolescent, and he's been through a number of different places, and he's sort of proved quite difficult. And he is suddenly transported out of the real world and finds himself in the lair of a wizard surrounded by deadly sins who invests him with superpowers, but he is basically still a kid. So there are two, the main character is played by two, and one of them a kid, one of them by an adult. The superpowers basically consist of him reappearing in a red suit with this Shazam logo on him, and the person who is his new brother in the new family that he's joined is, on the one hand, completely astonished that he's been turned into a superhero, but also is just fascinated to find out what kind of superpowers does he have. Is he bulletproof? Can he fly? Can he read minds? What can he do? There's that great thing in we were told with superhero things, which is, with great power comes great responsibility, but as yet, the great responsibility hasn't come. Moreover, they have to deal with getting him back into the house, despite the fact that he no longer looks like a little boy. He now looks like a grown man in red spandex, much to the alarm of their younger sister.
I'm so worried about you.
I told you this was a bad idea.
Oh, Freddy?
Wait, what happened to the stairs?
Hey, covering her mouth if you're gonna kidnap her is not gonna make her less scared, okay?
Darla, it's me. It's Billy. I know I don't look like me. A wizard made me look like
Maybe
this.
don't start with the wizard. It's just gonna make her more confused.
Some old guy brought me to a temple, and he made me say Shazam.
Rosa!
Verbally triggered body manipulation properties? You can switch by saying Shazam!
Baby, was that you? Are you okay?
I was screwing in a bulb.
Listen to me, Darla. You cannot tell anybody about this, all right?
But it's Billy. He's a hero.
Yeah, but if a supervillain finds out that he's a hero, that endangers us, okay? A hero's loved ones are like the perfect bad guy target.
Is she even good at keeping secrets?
Moderate.
No.
Oh, God.
So the central gag is that suddenly, young kid has developed superpowers, hasn't learned any of the things that have to come with that. And initially, the superpower is that he now looks like an adult. So he goes into the local store and says, I'd like to buy some of your finest beer, please. And the next thing they're making YouTube videos of, what powers he might have. And nothing is really mattering very much until along comes his nemesis, who basically is the point at which he has to wake up and face up to the fact that with great power comes great responsibility. Thing about this is, I thought it was kind of really good fun. In a strange way, it's almost like a sort of superhero riff on Big. Or do you remember that film Chronicle, which was like sort of superhero powers, but then caught on video camera? It was almost like a kind of found footage, young people finding that they have superheroes. It's like that, but with a comedic twist to it. Or if you imagine Deadpool with none of the nastiness, Deadpool sort of that kind of flippant knockabout stuff, but with none of the sort of bite, none of the R-rated edge to it. I do think that it's over 2 hours long, and there's a certain point that you get to with the film in which you think, okay, it has now pretty much done all the, it's run its course, and I could have easily lost 20 minutes out of it. But the main bad guy is played by Mark Strong, who is enjoying himself enormously, and is.
We haven't said hello to Mark Strong.
No, we haven't, and the Mark Strong butt game seems to have fallen completely by the way. And which is a shame because it was one of our better games, and it's very colourful and it's very sort of bright and lively, and it has this sort of misfits rule. At times there are elements of the Goonies about it. At times there are elements of that kind of everything from the outside that suddenly these people find their inner strength, and I like that about it. I do think it's a little bit long. I do think that there's a point at which the gag sort of starts to run out of steam and it starts to turn into a more conventional superhero movie. But as something that was bright and breezy and fun, and there are gags in it that are funny, particularly the stuff when he's learning what his superpowers are and he hasn't quite decided what it is. And, you know, all that stuff plays out in nice, jolly slapstick fashion. It's not world changing, but it was fun, if overlong.